Tesla has just filed their 10K report, which means that Elon can now do Tesla's all-hands meeting and post it to X as he promised. So I'm really looking forward to that. Washington Post has an article about Tesla. Among Tesla investors, Elon Musk could once do no wrong. There have always been Tesla investors that heavily criticized Elon, but the lack of support for his recent pitch for 25% control of Tesla shows his pull has eroded. I wonder, who are these Tesla stock investors that Washington Post is talking to? Here is one, him asking for stock. The whole thing's absurd, says Ross Gerber, a longtime investor and Musk ally. They really said that. You mean the person that has been attacking Elon for quite a while now, who wanted to go on Tesla's board. The same person who wanted to rein Elon in. It sounds like I'm making this stuff up, but it actually happened. Does that sound like an ally to you? Not to me, that sounds like an activist investor. Anyway, Ross says, I'm very grateful for the Tesla investment I made 10 years ago. We have reached a point as a firm, and me personally, where I feel the story is played out. So he's basically admitting that he's exiting the stock, that he does not want to be an investor anymore. And Washington Post calls him an ally of Elon Musk. You know, an ally that bails when things get really tough. To be clear though, I believe Ross Gerber still owns a substantial amount of Tesla stock, but he has reduced his position by about half in the last 12 months or so. The next source Washington Post uses is Dan Ives. I understand conceptually what he's doing by asking for more control, said Dan Ives, an analyst with Wedbush Securities who often touts Tesla and Musk, but set off a frenzy by dubbing the earnings call a train wreck. The timing's the issue. Now, I have a huge problem with using Dan Ives as a source to say, oh, Elon Musk should not get a new compensation package. Why? Because Dan Ives himself put this list of things of what Tesla should do. One of them is to offer a new compensation package with the proxy to lock in Musk as CEO through 2030. So Washington Post is trying to make a point that Elon Musk has no support to increase his Tesla control to 25%, and yet they are using a person as a source who is in favor of that. I think there are only two possible explanations for this. Number one, whoever wrote this article is an incompetent idiot, which is certainly likely. Or number two, which perhaps is more likely, whoever wrote this has an agenda against Elon Musk, dislikes Elon Musk, and wants to make Elon Musk look as bad as possible. And if you're not familiar with Elon Musk or Tesla and you don't know Dan Ives, this sounds really bad. He called the earnings call a train wreck. There's one more person that they're using, and she's saying, I said it was somewhere between a 2-year-old tantrum and a gangster saying it would be too bad to have a brick thrown through your candy store window. He's threatening to take away from the company something that already belongs to the shareholders. The way it's written, I don't know. It sounds to me that it's full of entitlement. Do you think Tesla would be where it is today if Elon Musk did not have that previous compensation package? I don't think so, personally. So did it really cost money to Tesla shareholders to pay Elon Musk earlier? I don't think so, because we are paying Elon from value that otherwise would not have existed. And I think the same could be said about the next Elon's compensation package, which I think he will get eventually. I actually looked into this person and I found her bio on this website, and I would like to say that I was stunned, but this reeked of such entitlement that no, it was not a surprise to me when I found out that she's basically an activist. She said it herself that she partakes in shareholder activism to increase the value of the companies, which in Tesla's case would be increasing the stock value in the short term at the cost of long-term growth. Ugh. And then they have Gene Munster as another source, and they actually admit that he's in favor of Elon having more control. You know, I've heard of people slamming the Washington Post, but it's worse than I thought. It just goes to show you how the media constantly tries to manipulate us, and it even goes as far as using sources that actually, if you look deeply into these sources, you will find that it crushes the whole point that they are trying to make. I mean, they could have just used Gordon Johnson, for example, and whoever doesn't know him, okay, he would have sounded just as credible, and I would have said, okay, well, at least you got your facts right. I disagree with your premise here, but yeah, at least you're using sources that actually make an argument for what you're trying to say here. Before I made money, I thought making money is so difficult, but after making some money, I realized more and more that it's actually easier than most people think, because most people don't even really try.